And we are live. You're watching another episode of the Detective Diaries. I am your host, Greg Lawson. This is where I go and find strange and interesting people and bring them into my paranormal journey. Last week, today's Thursday, isn't it? So on Tuesday, we had Ashley Nibb from the UK on. He is a paranormal researcher. He's part of the Society for Psychical Research and over in the UK, and a really in-depth, serious guy as far as paranormal exploration, paranormal research, and studying anomalies and phenomenon. So it was a good talk with him. Next week we're going to go dark. The Detective Diaries is going dark, and it's because my wife she told me that less Greg is better. Don't ever leave them wanting less Greg. Leave them wanting more Greg. So we're gonna go dark next week. Possibly next Saturday during the day. We might have a guest on, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how that's going to go. So today I have asked Frank Cinelli, Dr. Spectre, to come on. He is a holistic medicine guy. He is a paranormal researcher. He's a conspiracy expert. And so let's get him on here so it won't be too confused. Hey man, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and talking with me.
Oh man, I am so excited to be here. I'm so glad you asked me. I loved your intro when you're talking about how you find strange people. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. You know?
Well, but for what it's worth, I typically try to qualify strange and interesting, and you meet both qualifications. So,
right,
you're one of my favorites. So, before we get going, let's toast Jeff Belanger. What are you drinking tonight?
I am. I call this. It's a rumination. So it's Bacardi rum. Then it's a Calico Jack. It's a cheap coconut rum, but it's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And then I top it with Sailor Jerry and of course some seltzer and orange and lime, and very refreshing on a very hot day.
That sounds a lot better than what I'm drinking. I don't know why I don't have a cooler cup than this. This is a pretty cool cup, but I am drinking coffee because I have to go to work tonight because you people are crazy.
There you go.
Yeah. And so I have to go out and babysit society for 10 hours, but then I will be off. I will come home at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I will go to sleep for a couple of hours. And then my lovely wife and I will go to San Antonio and go visit Nikki Folsom.
Oh, nice.
Eric Folsom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that's my plan for 4th of July. What kind of plans you got for 4th of July?
We're going to have company. Aaron Sagers and his dogs are coming.
Dude, stop right there.
What?
Will you please tell that guy to message me back? I really want to have him on the show. Somehow sucker him in, push him in the corner. I know he doesn't want to do it.
I'll guilt him into it.
Thanks. I love that guy, man. I find him so interesting, and man, I just haven't been able to hook up with him.
Yeah, he's like my little brother.
Awesome. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, he was here last weekend. Stayed, and a couple of days later, he's coming back. So,
well,
there's home away from home.
That's awesome, though. I often watch his Facebook lives. And I wish he would do more of them. I really like. I like hearing what he's got so much knowledge on. Just
it's
paranormal
amazing.
society.
Yeah. It truly is. Well, don't tell him I said
that. So for those of you that you are watching, if you could go down into the comments and comment where you're watching from, it actually helps me out a lot. And if you like this broadcast, click on like and share it. Whenever you share the broadcast, man, I get so many hits and views. It really helps out me doing this show a lot. Also, if you want to check out the earlier Detective Diaries, you can go over to my YouTube channel, The Paranormal Detective Greg Lawson, and you can see the other guests that I've had on here. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing lately? You been doing any traveling or anything?
No, COVID has me, housebound. Plus, my sweetheart, who's usually right here, she had a bad accident back in March. She'd gone to Arizona for work. The day before she was supposed to come home, she fell off a ladder. Did some major damage to her foot. So she's getting around now, but it's getting a little hard. She's in a wheelchair and using the walker when she can. She came back to Pennsylvania May 1st. So prior to that, I couldn't go see her. Right?
Wow, because she was in the hospital?
In the hospital, then the rehab, and no visitors allowed. I mean, this was literally right before all this shit came down. Right.
I forgot about that part of it. You couldn't even go visit her, huh?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
FaceTime?
Yeah, we would FaceTime as much as we could, and we'd do like group FaceTimes with the grandbaby. So,
isn't it funny how basically FaceTime technology has been around for years and years, and Star Trek and all these sci-fi things all had where you would answer a call on a pad and you'd see the other person's face. But we didn't adopt that technology until all of a sudden COVID comes and boom, everybody's using it. It's weird.
Yeah. FaceTime, Zoom, right? What is this? StreamYard. I can't tell you how many of these things I've done since COVID, the StreamYard.
Yeah. Yeah. So to catch everybody up, that is, let's see, I got, we got a bunch of comments here. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Allison Quick. Do you know Allison?
No. Do you?
I don't know you, Allison. I don't think, but thanks for watching.
We'd like to get to know you.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll give you other links and stuff to follow what everybody's doing. Chris Sanders says hi.
Hey, Chris.
Kat Ward, she's from Australia. She probably is going to win the furthest viewer today.
Very cool.
Kat is very cool. You would actually like her a lot. She's very matter of fact, scientific about her paranormal investigations, and is really in depth in that stuff. Oh, wow. Look at this. There's MJ. MJ, if it weren't for MJ, you and I wouldn't know each other.
No, exactly.
Nope. Because MJ brought us here, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps every time I see that.
So, and actually, when I was talking to Ashley last week, we were talking about Warwick. This is Warwick Castle in Warwickshire, UK. And it's pretty amazing.
We had a blast there.
When they were rotating everybody through, were you assigned a specific room, specific area?
I was, yes. For the life of me, I can't remember what room it was. It was like kind of a blah. Maybe it was like a library or something.
It was the library. Yep. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, a lot of times when you do paranormal events, in this case, Sage Paracon, they'll have big groups of people, and then they will split them up, and they will put the experts in that area into different rooms or into different areas, and then you rotate like every hour and go in there and do experiments and see what's going on. So I know that time, I don't think I was assigned to a room. I think I was rotating around with everybody.
Okay. Yeah, but I was in a room.
A subsequent one, I was out of the bear pit. That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a photo here. You know what? I'm going to save that. But this is some of the places that we stayed. So you sign up for a Paracon like Sage, you get to see places like this. Did you actually go into Vauxhall Abbey?
No, I did not.
I actually snuck in there because they were setting up for a wedding, and and I kind of went in with like whoever the people were that were setting up the decorations and everything, and walked around and then got out of there before anybody really paid any attention to me. But that whole area there, here's the basically the hotel now, and I heard it was for sale. Maybe MJ could tell us if it's still for sale or not. But didn't you guys play Cards with Humanity in this place?
We did. We did. We shut that place down every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Beautiful place.
It was gorgeous.
So what did you did something, you guys went somewhere like a week ago?
We went to Jim Thorpe, PA. Okay. It's Jim Thorpe, great little town, very tourist oriented, lots of cool little shops. But there's some cool paranormal things there. There's the old jail where they have this handprint from one of the Molly Maguires. That handprint will not disappear. They've painted over it, they've scrubbed it, and it always freaking comes back. So now they just have like a frame over it with a little glass. There's also the Asa Packer Museum and the Harry Packer Mansion and Museum. And the Harry Packer, this is a cool place. The Haunted Mansion at Disney World is kind of modeled after this place. So yeah, it was cool. Of course, nothing was open. Okay, there's like so many budget cuts, so the museums were all closed. We walked around none of the stores because it's such an old town. None of the stores are ADA compliant, so I couldn't get Bella into any of the shops. I pushed her up the hill, and then I pushed her down the hill, and then we went to a restaurant.
So, for those that are watching and don't know anything about the Packard, can you kind of update us on what all the history is behind that?
I don't know the history.
You don't?
No. If it was open, I would have looked it up and I would have remembered. I'm sure at one time I knew the history of the Packers.
It seemed like somebody got killed. I don't know what happened.
Somebody's always getting killed, and I think they owned coal mines. If I recall.
I'm willing to bet one of our listeners would probably know some history on that.
Yeah.
Let's see if and so MJ said she still thinks that Roxall Abbey is for sale. If any of y'all know anything about the Packer stuff, put it in the comments down there and share it with us, and we'll pass it around. So yeah, and I got one other. Hey, look at us! Was that out in front of Roxall? That was right in front of the restaurant.
That was, yeah, that was like the main entrance there. Yeah, look how young we were.
That was a really good time. When we were actually in there, actually when we went over to Warwickshire or Warwick Castle, I think probably the most disturbing thing I saw there was oubliette. Did you take a look at that?
No.
The little hatch in the floor. It's a little metal grate in the floor, and so it means to forget. And they would take prisoners and just shove them down in there and just pack them in there. And as they died, the other prisoners would just hand the dead bodies out of there. It was twisted up.
I don't recall seeing that. I remember the Kingmaker's room. That was really cool. I didn't have a whole lot of time to explore. I was in that one little area a lot. I mean, it was cool. It ended up being good, but yeah. No, so I didn't get a whole lot of time to explore the castle.
Hey, and Duncan chimed in. I was in the bear pit. I was in the bear pit on the second one. The first one, I don't think, when you were there, I was rotating around because that's when I think I caught up with you down in, it wasn't in the dungeon, but it was in a basement area, like a kitchen basement area.
Room. When Duncan's name got called out.
Yeah. So Let me see if I got, boom. There it is.
Yeah.
There's Bella and there's you.
Yeah.
Um,
My little bag of tricks.
I only got I only got down there for a short amount of time. What all was going on down there?
So we were doing some cool things. We had the HTO, the haunted trigger object. So you hook this to anything metal, right? And this becomes this trigger object, and you get the lights to go up. So we hooked it to one of the helmets, got the lights to come out. We were running Echo Vox, and I know a lot of people don't like the Echo Vox. I love it. I mean, every freaking time I use this thing, it just amazes me. So Duncan's name got called out, and I don't remember the context of it. I know he was very skeptical of it, and we asked a question specifically about him, and it just boom, Duncan. So yeah, that was cool.
So I think, if I remember correctly, because I was there when it happened, I was standing by Bella and you, I think, and I think she was sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
And you were, and I tell people this all the time. You were asking questions the way you should ask questions, not a rapid fire interrogation of the paranormal entity that's in the room or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? You've been there, right? What's your name? Why are you here? What did you die here? It's just one thing after another. And the freaking, poor ghost is sitting there going,
Think about it. I mean, we know people. I know people like that. You're having a conversation with them, and they've asked you 7 questions before you can answer the first one, and then you're like, deer in the headlights.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were doing it very well. You were, you would ask a very simplistic question, not very many, not some run-on sentence of a question,
right.
Just a really simple question, and then you would wait. And we had recorders all over the place. I think we had an analog recorder also. And so a lot of people had digital recorders, and they're all recording, trying to capture EVPs. And every once in a while, we'd stop and then play back and listen to some of it instead of just recording, an hour's worth of EVP work and then never getting around to listening to it, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets too overwhelming to just sit there and listen to that. But I remember it specifically because it was very striking to me. You had asked, actually, you were asking a question, and then Duncan came into the room. He came in and he was standing over by me. And so I was standing between him and you, and right by the echo box. And you said, "Can you tell us who came into the room?" And the echo box said, "Duncan." It didn't say, and you go, "Oh, that said Duncan." No, it was Duncan. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's that thing. The more I use it, the better it gets. We did an event at, it was up in New Hampshire. I can't think of the name of it, but we were there. It was me, Mark Villa, Johnny Zathis. I had my full name called out 3 times that weekend on the Echo Box. Not just Frank, it was Frank Cinelli.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets freaky, right? So it's the end of the night, and I'm ready to go up to the little apartment and start drinking. And someone comes running up the steps and says, "Frank, you got to go up to the attic. There's a ghost asking for you." I'm like, "Come on, really?" Yeah. So I go up, they're running Echo Box, and as soon as I walk in, Frank Cinelli. Oh, shit. Right? Because again, it's the end of the night.
Right.
So I start asking questions, and I said, "What's your name?" "Annette." "Okay." "I only know one Annette, and she died probably about 16 years ago." Okay, she was a former patient of mine. She and I would get into these great conversations. Her grandfather worked at Area 51. So we get like in these cool paranormal conversations. So I said, all right, Annette, what's your last name? Boom. And it says her last name. So now I'm like, all right, so I gotta qualify. Annette, where did your grandfather work? Area 51. So, 16 freaking years later, she's asking for me in a hotel in New Hampshire. Fitzwilliam, that's the name of the place, Fitzwilliam Inn. And
it actually qualified. She actually qualified by saying the Area 51.
Yeah, clear as day through the echo box.
Dude, you do a statistical analysis, mathematics on that, and there's there's no way.
No.
There's no way.
3 times. Yeah. So she wanted me to get a message to her husband that she was okay.
So MJ said that happened in the Kingmaker room. That's where that was.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what it was called, but Victoria says hi. Victoria, what's going on, Victoria? She's over in the UK.
Hello.
Pamela's on. Spooky Sisters from the UK. So we got international folks here. We got people from the UK, from Australia. I had one from Cuba the other day. It was interesting.
Wow.
But yeah. So I keep going back to work. I mean, there's a lot of different places I've been. But work was one of those places. If you go to the UK, that's definitely something that you need to go and experience, I think. But
I agree. The place is unforgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to wait a little bit, but I think we should jump into some holistic medicine stuff. I'm sure that in the last 3 months, no one has come into your shop or come to your office or come and asked you, what can I do for stress? Right?
Well, I don't know.
So are there a lot of people, speaking out your advice on that kind of stuff?
It is. And it's so very important to manage the stress, because stress will actually weaken your immune system. Okay. The best way to combat stress is to do something physical. Get out, go for a walk, get all that stress energy out. Secondly, you want to recognize, okay, I'm stressed over something I cannot control. Okay, what do I do so replace those thoughts? Okay, get focused on a project, get focused on your family, get focused on, braiding your beard, whatever it takes. Thirdly, B vitamins, B5 and B6 specifically, will help you manage that stress a little better, support your adrenal glands, because your adrenals produce cortisol. Okay, cortisol is our body's inflammation response. Okay, cortisol is also our stress response. So most of us have some kind of inflammation going on anyway, whether it's, we worked out, whether I got a bum knee, I got arthritis, whatever. So your adrenals are always kind of working. Now, if you overload it with stress, they start to deplete. And eventually you're going to go into adrenal fatigue, which, it's hard to deal with life. You can't get motivated. You don't have the energy. Your adrenals also produce epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are neurotransmitters. So now here comes depression. Here comes sleeping issues. Here comes eating issues. Okay, so it's very important that you take your B vitamins, B5 and B6, and that's probably the best ways to deal with stress in general.
Typically, what I do with stress is I put it in a bowl and I just devour it.
Okay. Bury it deep inside.
I think just push it down, man.
Nothing bad's going to happen there.
And yeah. Well, speaking of which, my behavior modification unit that relieves me of so much stress is asking a question. Lynn says, Nikki and her will be doing some alchemy this weekend. Can you give any suggestions on surviving COVID stress?
There you go. Same thing. Vitamin D is extremely important as well. Okay, and they found that most of the people who were hit the hardest with the COVID had the lowest levels of vitamin D.
Vitamin D as in David, right?
Yeah, D3 specifically.
Okay.
You want to take about 5,000 units a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but they're little units.
Say it all over again.
5,000 IU, international units of vitamin D3 per day.
Okay.
Now, it's funny. Vitamin D was one of those things I would take on the school schedule. The kids went back to school. All right, I start taking it again. When they got out for the summer, I would stop taking it. The more I learn about vitamin D, well, it also helps protect your skin from the harmful UV light from the sun. So you take it all year long now.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to take that, and I have it all up there. It's just for some reason I often miss it, and I got to get on a better schedule as far as that goes. Let's see. Suzette from Michigan says hi.
Hello,
Joan,
Suzette.
Sarasota, Florida.
Joan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of friends in Florida, so it's nice to see that. That's other than my friends, someone's watching from Florida. Thank you, Joan. What do we got here? Maryland. Upstate. All right.
Maryland.
So, as far as managing the stress, we're looking at exercise. We're looking at supplements. How does that go? I know a lot of people I've talked to that go on paranormal investigations. They feel that that's very stressful for them while they're there, and some of them quit doing it because it's stressful. Do you have any suggestions on anything like that as far as while doing paranormal investigations?
It's kind of the same process. It's your body, whether it's paranormal stress, whether it's COVID stress, your body doesn't differentiate. It reacts the same. So yeah, all those same suggestions. Now, if you're getting that stressed from investigating, you probably shouldn't be. Okay.
And that's what I've told a couple of people, because they had, let's say they have recent family members that have passed away. And so they continue doing paranormal investigation or ghost hunting with their group or with friends or whatever. And they start getting very stressed out at that the past loved one is trying to get a message to them and maybe confusing what's going on in the investigation itself.
Yeah, they should probably step away from it for a while, okay, until enough time passes where they're solid with that.
Right.
And I get that. People mourn in different ways. When I lost my mom 2 years ago, it hurt. It was bad. Okay, but I know my mom would kick me in the ass if I wasted a minute of just grieving and not doing anything else.
Right.
So life, she always said, life is for the living. Get out and enjoy and do the things you love.
And that's what, Jeff Belanger is talking about. History is a ghost story. He's done talks on it about that. And that's something I kind of find that's why I find it fascinating is the history behind a lot of this. Some of the places that Lynn and I go and are honored enough to go for people inviting us, the love story or the tragedy, whatever it is so profound it makes sense. That there would be a ghost story of some sort there. You're located, where are you located?
Northeast Pennsylvania, kind of just shy of the Pocono Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the place near you that you find really intriguing, and a place that you like to go and would recommend to other people?
Paranormal wise, or just
Now, paranormal wise, yeah.
okay. So I'm about an hour and 40 minutes from Philadelphia, hour 40 minutes from New York City. We're centrally located in the middle of nowhere. I've been to Philly quite a bit. A couple of places there. Fort Mifflin, you cannot go wrong. Doesn't disappoint. Very hard to do EVPs because it's right by the airport, and every 15 minutes a plane is going over. Eastern State Penitentiary. Okay, again, I've been there in the day. I've been there in large groups over 200 people, and you're getting stuff. One of the best stories I have in paranormal is we were there with a Schrader event. Okay, and we're kind of investigating. So they have these cells. Each cell has a skylight, so there was light coming through, shining down on this little table that was in there. And I'm looking in there, and I could see shadows moving behind this. All right, then maybe it's my eyes playing trick. Then it comes in front of the table, and it goes back down. Bah, 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 bah. I was with Aaron Sagers. I said, Aaron, come on over, look at this. So we're looking at it, and we're boom, boom, boom. And it's going back and forth. So he calls it out. It rushes the door. The blackest black I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Aaron jumped back probably a good 4 feet. And it was kind of funny. I was focused on this, but if not, I would have been laughing my ass off on that.
Yeah.
One of many stories of Eastern State Penitentiary. Those are great places. Locally, there's a really cool place called Columnsile. Okay, Columnsile is a monolith park. So they've built these like a little mini Stonehenge. There's gate. There's the Eye of God. These little hiking trails. Lots of elemental energy there. This is actually on one of the ley lines that goes through up into Scotland, and it was Iona, Scotland, where the whole concept of this was conceived, and they brought it right back here to Bangor, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who may have just tuned in, you're watching the Detective Diaries. I am your host, Greg Lawson. Today we're talking with Frank Cinelli, who is a paranormal researcher, paranormal investigator, holistic medicine practitioner, and all-around cool guy. You can find him on his Facebook at frank.cinelli, and also on Twitter, Frank Cinelli at Dr. Spectre. And if you haven't already gone down and commented, please do go down and comment. If you can like the Facebook live feed, that would be great. And if you would share it, it helps out incredibly, because all of your friends will see it, and it'll spread it around quite a bit. We had touched on, or you had touched on, you just recently lost your mom. When did that happen?
That was 2 years ago in the end of April.
Okay. Yeah. My mom passed away in October of last year. Yeah, it's incredibly hard. I know Kat down in Australia, she had recently lost her mom, and we talked about it on Facebook Messenger. And so she's one of the ones that found some solace and some comfort, I guess, in the paranormal, and I think I do too, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So I've had some people say, well, your mom's watching over you, and I'm thinking, no. My mom, as soon as she passed away, I'm pretty sure she looked and went, okay, what's next? And shot off wherever you go, because she prepared her kids to be individuals. She prepared all, my brothers and my sister to be completely independent. That's what she kind of taught us. Mm-hmm. And so it's funny, because, I think people handle death and handle the paranormal a little different,
Yeah.
But I know
Yeah.
you're a dog guy, aren't you?
I'm what?
Are you a dog guy?
I like dogs. I like
Yeah.
animals in general. Yeah. We don't have any because we travel so much, right?
Oh,
Yeah, it just wouldn't be fair to the dog. But I know, I love dogs are always welcome.
I know. I see a few pictures of you with dogs, so I was just.
Yeah, I will not, res, give up a selfie with a dog.
Yeah.
I have a grand puppy. He's a long-haired dachshund. Um, that's George, Sir George. My
Yeah.
son-in-law is from the UK. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, that's Kat. Hey, Carl, Frank Gabella helped me a lot to handle my grief. Well, that's I believe when Carl was that when your father passed, and he will always be thankful to you for that.
There is nothing in the world I wouldn't do for Carl.
I know.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
Like the instant you meet him, it's like, wow,
Yeah. I'm going to get him on here in the next month or so. I think. I'm like I said, I'm going to take my wife's advice and have less Greg instead of more Greg, and make people actually miss me instead of shoving me down, your throat. So James says, "Love you, Frank."
My buddy James, I haven't seen him in so long.
He was on the show, like he was on Detective Diaries 2 weeks ago or so, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring him on and get a little demonology perspective of what's going on in the world. Oh wow! So Tanya Knight, I don't think you know her, but she is fantastic. She's an amazing person. She's basically, I would consider her a guru, and I think she's awesome. And hopefully, you'll get to meet her one day. She's down here in Texas, and
Cool.
And thank you a lot, Tanya, for tuning in on this. That was great. So as far as what is your favorite location other than Eastern State? Well, or is Eastern State your favorite location as far as doing paranormal events?
No, it's so hard. I mean, Iron Island up in Buffalo. Again, love that place. The people there are fantastic.
Well, I know I am the paranormal detective, and I should know about Iron Island. I know nothing. What's up with that? What's Iron Island?
Iron Island, it's the Lovejoy section of Buffalo, and it's called Iron Island because it's completely surrounded by railroad tracks. So this building started life out as a church, okay? Then it became a funeral home. And then as time went on, it kind of got abandoned, run down. So Linda, the owner, took it over and decided to create a museum of this very important section of Buffalo. Well, in the basement, they found 30 some odd boxes of unclaimed ashes. So Linda, I mean, she's just phenomenal. She started doing research and so on, and a lot of them were military veterans. She made sure that they all had proper military burial.
Wow.
Yeah. But the energy in this place is amazing, and there's different rooms, and I know a lot of the shows have been there. Ghost Hunters did it early on. Somebody did it just recently. I think Portals to Hell, maybe.
Okay.
One of the shows just did it recently. But again, every time I'm there, something.
Right.
First time I ever got touched was at Iron Island. We're in what they call the little chapel room. It's basically set up like a chapel. There's 4 of us in there. We're kind of laying, in a circle doing EVPs. Something grabbed my butt.
It wasn't me. I wasn't there, so you can't blame me.
You would have been the first one I blamed.
I know.
I didn't realize I could move that fast or jump that high.
Wow.
And when you get touched, you get that cold from the inside out. Okay. And there's nothing you do that warms you up. My dear friend now, somebody I just met then, Lorraine, who's one of the volunteers and tour guides there. Lorraine instantly goes into mother mode and starts taking care of me. God love her. She was wonderful. She, because this was like brand new to me at this point. So yeah, that was kind of wild. I've been back many times since. The last trip there, I got something ran through me. So I filmed with a little
You
local.
gotta explain that a little bit better.
I'm gonna. So I filmed with a local Pennsylvania show called Ghost Detectives. We were filming there, and we're down in the basement, and I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I go over to investigate. Then all of a sudden, we hear noises over one of the guys, right? And I'm shining the light, and I'm looking. We're trying to figure out what it was. Out of the corner of my eye, I see something running at me. Okay. Turn and look, and it hits me right in the chest. Goes right through me. So now I'm like, deer in the headlights. What? This, that, and the other. I'm like, all right, you know what, guys? Time out. I got to get outside. The cameraman says, well, if it was running that way, don't you think we should investigate that way? So I turn around and I start to go investigate in this one really creepy corner of the basement. Yeah, that didn't last long. I was like, okay, I need out. I'm going out of here. That was really cool. After I left, okay, one of the guys in the group, Rich Roselle, very first time he's ever seen anything that was at Iron Island, and it was like a full-bodied shadow person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess I'm going to have to put that on the bucket list then, because my bucket list is getting really short these days. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear about that. It sounds pretty amazing because, if you get into some theory behind that, if there's all this iron, like you were talking about, are the railroad tracks still there?
The railroad tracks are still there.
And those, that
it's holding the energy.
So I know this from being in the infantry in the Army, and I know this from being an operations specialist in the Navy. That affects magnetism. All those long lines of, very dense metal like that affects that, especially iron, steel. And so no telling what that might be doing if, who knows? Hey, have you ever been, Jones asking, have you ever been to the Stanley Hotel?
Oh, the Stanley Hotel. That's, another place I need to get back to. That's a really cool place. A lot of interesting history there. I spent a weekend there.
Okay.
I was there, and it was good, and it wasn't. There was a skeptic in the group, and I like skeptics because they can keep you on your toes.
Sure.
But I like skeptics who have an open mind. And at that point, and this guy does now, but he didn't then. So it was kind of a bittersweet weekend.
Well, and we just went up there, a whole group of us, what are referred to as the Drankulas. They're a whole group of people that actually met each other over in Transylvania.
Cool.
And so needless to say, the Drankulas drink a little bit. And we had kind of a Drancula reunion at the Stanley. And it was actually for my birthday. It was over the February 28th weekend.
Nice.
And we went up there and we had a great time. The hotel, was in the off season a little bit then, but the hotel was had a lot of activity as far as people. And what was really funny is in the middle of the night, or multiple times in the middle of the night, I would go out into the hallway. And as soon as I went out in the hallway, because I was expecting it to be completely empty, but no, there would be 3 or 4 people in their pajamas with like their recorders and it was amazing. There are people everywhere trying to figure out what in the world's going on at the Stanley.
So Joan was talking about the Shanley, not the Stanley.
Oh.
Shanley is up in Napanoch, New York. Okay,
Ah.
very close to the world's third largest garden known. Just an FYI.
So what is it and what is it called again?
Shanley.
Shanley. Okay.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's
yeah.
what I was like reading that. And I'm like, I need to get new glasses. So, well, anyway, you got my Stanley story, and there you go.
Stanley is on my bucket list. I have not been. Every time I was supposed to go, last time I was supposed to go, Hurricane Sandy came through. Shut us down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you done anything else overseas, like over in the UK?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. That was my very first time to the UK. I do plan to go back. We've been planning a trip to Scotland, which got postponed. So, you know.
Yeah. Whenever we go over, one of our problems with going over to the UK is it's kind of like going to the grocery store. Grocery stores typically do better if they only have about 3 products of a particular thing on the shelf. 3 products of green beans, 3 products of tomatoes, 3 products of whatever. Because you can easily make a decision. You can look and go, okay, I want this one.
Right.
Yeah. If you got a great grocery store that has everything and there's 50, or 10, things to choose from, a lot of times people won't buy because they just can't make up their mind. They don't know what to do. And so they just walk off. That's what happens in the UK. If you don't figure out exactly what you want to do and just do it and not worry about the other 15 things that are right across the street that are absolutely as amazing as what you're looking at. It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere. But yeah. So let's see what else we got. Oh, hey. So Kat got pinched on the butt in old jail over there.
Oh,
So
cool.
She took it as a compliment.
Well, I guess maybe I should too.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as we had talked pretty in depth at one time about ghost hunts and large groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, being the scientific materialist that I am, I had kind of said, well, if I was going to do an investigation and I was doing the whole thing, what I would do is I would try to get everybody away from the house for at least 24 hours. Then I would send a medium in and they could spend as long as they wanted to walking around in there. And then once they get out, wait a couple hours, then send in each paranormal investigator and then come out and then go in with, electronic equipment, set it up, monitor it, conclude the thing. So that would take, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And you kind of looked at me kind of funny and was like, because at that time I was thinking of the paranormal evidence side of it,
Mm-hmm.
not the metaphysical side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been my experience that the metaphysical side of it is a lot more to do with what's going on than collecting EVPs or pictures of orbs or whatever.
Yeah.
And you had said to me, I don't know if you remember this, but you had said that you believe that it is a good way to do it, where you have, you could have 10 people, 12 people, 20 people. And if everybody is just there, maybe you throw on some recorders or whatever and have some drinks and laugh, maybe even play music. And you said that you believe that maybe that's a better way to attract or to draw interest to yourself for a spirit. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I still stand by that. It's, so many times and when we're investigating, right, and we do this serious investigation and, can you tell us who you are? What year is it? Okay. And Okay, yes, I get the importance of those questions, but they're boring. When you're there, and has happened, we always run the recorders when we're setting up, because when we're setting up, we're usually cracking up and we're laughing, and we get more stuff doing that. So yeah, I mean, it's you create good energy. If you're joking, you're laughing, you're having a drink, and I wouldn't recommend getting loaded investigating, but having a drink, um, good energy.
Yeah.
People want to be around that. People want to come. People want to say, "Hey, what the hell? Why are they so happy? What's going on here?"
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, throughout the years and people showing me their evidence, here we are using normal means to collect paranormal evidence, which really doesn't equate too well for me in my head. Mm-hmm. So I think more along, like I said, the metaphysical side of it. And I think I subscribe more now to the Frank Cinelli approach of that. So yeah. I think you jacked me up on that then, because
you're welcome.
I prefer it.
Yeah. And it makes the investigation more fun for everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. The first EVP I got was on an old reel-to-reel, little recorder. I used to go with stacks of Polaroid film. I have boxes of those. So yeah, I mean, we went through this. Well, let's treat it like a science. It's not a science, because you can't. It's impossible to be a science. So let's treat it like a pseudoscience. Okay, let's try to get enough. And me personally, I used to want to get that great evidence that I could show somebody and it was irrefutable. You looked at this and you knew it was a ghost. Now I want to go. A lot of times I'll go, I won't even bring equipment. I just want the personal experience. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
And that found we're getting better stuff that way.
No, and so the people, I get asked a lot, so how did you get into this? What was your first paranormal experience? And I'm like, I haven't seen a ghost. I haven't been pitched on the butt ever.
Next time.
And so I sit back, but I think about the things that I have experienced, and they've all been paranormal. They've all been experiential. It's been like someone would describe a religious experience when before morphine and heroin and all that stuff, and people would sit and chant and go into a dream state kind of thing, and you have that huge dopamine release, and you feel great, and you feel like you're in the presence of God or whatever deity that you follow or whatever it is. And you read a lot about that, and the Greeks were really into it. And so I've had those experiences before, but I haven't had the full-bodied apparition talking to me yet. I'm still looking for it though.
Me too. I want that. I want them to come up and say, "Hey, I'm a ghost, and I want to get this on film." But until that happens, keep doing it our way.
That's right. Let's see. Marilyn says she always gets something at Iron Island.
Yeah. Oh, it's again, never ever disappoints.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go up there because I have not, and I actually had never even heard of it. So Carrie Hull, Carrie, did you meet Carrie?
Name sounds familiar.
I bet you know her. But anyway, she says my birthday cake attracted a child ghost when we were at the Stanley, not the Shanley, the Stanley,
right,
in Colorado. I don't remember that, Carrie. What happened? I don't remember. I was apparently drinking too much beer at that point.
Exactly. It was your birthday.
So, where can people find you online?
Well, on Facebook, I'm Frank Cinelli. Twitter at Dr. Spectre. Instagram at Dr. Spectre.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was something I wanted to get into a little bit of conspiracy stuff with you, with the COVID thing, but I think everybody's heard enough COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And you believe it or not, we're like running up against the hour here. We've been talking 55 minutes.
That went fast.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching, if you could go down and comment, that would be awesome. If you would like and share this broadcast, it would be super cool. Frank, what do you have that's coming up? I know most everybody, all their stuff is canceled. Everything that I was planning on doing this year has been moved to 2021.
Right. I have one thing on the books still for this year, and that's at Selma Mansion in Norristown, PA, the Norristown Preservation Society. That is September 19th and 20th. Okay. Fundraiser for the property, as most of these things are. So, yeah, if you're not doing anything because there's not much else going on paranormal wise, come to this. This is another cool place. Oh my God, I got stories about this place too. We don't have enough time for them. But yeah, this is another cool place. Stones getting thrown, people getting pulled off the chairs, wild stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So then next year in 2021, I will be at Salem Con, April 23rd and 24th. Okay. That just got announced yesterday. And then, of course, I will be at Sage Paracon, July 29th through August 1st.
Well, I will be there too. So we will finally get to catch up again.
Right.
I would love to go to Salem Con. I've never been to Salem Con. I think Lynn and I need to figure out a way to get up there.
It's a great time. Cool. Last year they didn't do investigations. Other years they have. So I'm not sure of the format this year.
Okay. So Suzette says that we need to do a conspiracy of a complete hour-long conspiracy. So okay. I'm up for it if you're up for it.
I am up for it.
So thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. You got anything else you want to tell the folks out there?
Stay safe.
All right.
Do the right things.
I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping I'll get with you if you want to sit down and do a conspiracy thing, maybe next month, the month after. That would be really cool. I think people would find it very interesting, both between you and I, the stuff that we know about government operations and stuff like that. I think might be fun to bat back and forth.
I would like that.
So thanks everybody else for tuning in. Frank, I appreciate it. I'm going to send you out and I'm going to wrap this thing up. Thank you, Frank. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
All right. Later, bud. Love to Lynn.
All right. All right, y'all. That was Frank Cinelli, Dr. Spectre, holistic medicine practitioner, and all around cool guy, paranormal explorer and paranormal investigator. Next week, I'm going dark for a week. Yeah, you're not going to see any of Greg next week. You will just have to wait for the following week, and I'll send out some new advertisements as far as who's going to be on and what we're going to talk about. Also, just a reminder out there, if you have never seen the Halser Files, I highly suggest it. Hans Halser was a paranormal investigator who has passed, and his daughter is sharing his old case files with my old buddy, Dave Schrader. And Dave and his team are investigating all of that, or reinvestigating and examining his files. Also, if you've never watched Kindred Spirits, it's one of the shows that I would recommend as far as a paranormal show. They do a really good job investigating and also helping people who are having paranormal problems or experiences in their home or in their work or whatever. So that's what's going to go on. I will advertise what's going to happen the following week. And I think we're going to have Beth Darlington on that following week. And that's going to be really cool. She's traveled all over the place and done a lot of investigations, been on TV shows, and is all around cool chick too. So Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you can like and share this broadcast, it would be great. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, it's the Paranormal Detective Greg Lawson YouTube channel, and you can find other episodes of the Detective Diaries. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys really soon out there in my paranormal journey. See ya.